Course 1: Biological Architecture. Youth without interventions. After 40. Lesson 1: Survival through structure. Well over the age of 40, people ask me almost obsessively what interventions I have had. The truth? Beauty did not save me. Perfect genetics did not save me. Luck did not save me. Structure saved me. I am Felicia Iancu, and my biology was built in fire, not in comfort. Everything you see today, the posture, the energy, the femininity, the psychological resilience, comes from what I built inside myself long before life hit me head on. The human body never forgets what you have built within it, but it also never forgets what you have allowed to crumble. It all began on gymnastics mats, at School 190 and the Children's Palace. In sports, I wasn't the brilliant child, but I had something more dangerous than talent: a fierce ambition, an obsession to overcome through work everything that nature had not offered me for free. While in sports I built through discipline, in writing I received grace. I have been writing since I was 8. My Romanian teacher used to call me the metaphor, but also Cănuță, the twisted man, because I knew exactly what I wanted even as a young girl, and I defended my creation with stubbornness. When I was asked to read corrected versions of my compositions, I refused. I read exactly what I felt. Without knowing it, that was my first form of internal structure. Later, at the Central School, I practiced competitive sports until I was 16, representing my high school at national stages in Cântarea României. Back then, I didn't understand that every training session was silently building a biological reserve for the future. Years later, that foundation would save my life. At 22, my father was diagnosed with cancer. I watched him fade slowly for 5 years. After his death, my body began to speak in place of my soul. My liver ached for nearly an entire year, even though every medical test was perfect. Then I understood something fundamental. Unprocessed trauma is deposited in biology. Unwept pain seeks out organs in which to reside. But life wasn't finished with me. My older brother was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at 33, and I began to study medicine almost obsessively. Neuroinflammation, nutrition, supplements, experimental protocols. I was trying to build bridges over the impossible. Then, my other brother was struck down by a lightning-fast liver cancer. He died so quickly that reality didn't have time to become reality. And a few years later, I lost the brother who had fought multiple sclerosis as well. 3 deaths, 3 biological earthquakes. Only one body left standing. For 2 years, I barely slept. I was a functional robot. I ran my business impeccably. I smiled. I spoke normally. but at home I was a ruin. The 5 meters to the bathroom became my daily Everest. And yet, I refused to abandon myself completely. I forced myself to dress elegantly. I wore vibrant lipstick even when no one saw me. I combed my hair even when I wanted to disappear. I refused to let death enter my femininity. In deep trauma, small rituals become neurological survival systems. When a person loses control over life, they must maintain control over their own structure. I save myself through 3 things: movement, nature, and poetry. Poetry was my internal surgery. Where the psyche broke, words slowly stitched back what life had torn apart. A bicycle received as a gift took me out of the house and into parks, where nature reminded me of something essential. Everything that seems dead can be reborn. I began to rebuild myself millimeter by millimeter. A strict routine, movement even when my body screamed no, supplements, mental discipline. Then, one day, I asked myself, if you had only one more chance to love something in this life, what would it be? The answer came instantly: sports. That same day, I sought out a fitness course. Not for aesthetics, for survival. I was afraid to delay any longer because my bed had become almost a biological grave. And then something happened that I will never forget. Cellular memory. The sports I abandoned at 16 had never died. They were sleeping in my tissues, in my posture, in my nervous system. Because biology does not forget discipline. The cell does not forget structure. Here is the truth the anti-aging industry doesn't want you to hear. Real youth does not begin in a clinic. It begins in the nervous system, in the musculature, in routine, in the way you choose to live when life destroys you. After 40, your body becomes the autobiography of all your choices. Be careful what you build inside yourself, because one day your body will tell the story of all your choices. Press subscribe. See you in the next lesson.